Hey guys, and welcome to a brand new video here on FPL Now. Today we're going to be going over a potential wildcard draft for Game Week 7. Completely understand most people won't have this chip anymore, but we can still talk about transfers regardless. Either way, if you're excited for the video, drop a like down below, leave a comment. What are your plans for the next FPL Game Week? Subscribe if you're brand new, and let's get into the video. So, starting things off, let's take a look at the goalkeepers. So if I was on a wildcard draft, if I was in that very nice position, I would probably go Pickford and then Areola for the remainder of the season, just because this week you can play Pickford, who's got Southampton at home, and then next week you can play Areola, who's got Ipswich away. So they just alternate very, very nicely. You could go Raya in goal. Again, we have kind of defense for those certain goalkeepers anyway, so we've kind of got them covered, but my budget's just not there. I've only got 0.1 mil left in the bank with this team, so that's why I've opted for Pickford and Areola. But you could go Kepa for the last day of the season, who's got Leicester at home, or somebody like say a Raya or something, if you have the funds there, because those goalkeepers are just better options. But if you're a little bit low on funds and you cannot make it to those goalkeepers, then I think Pickford and Areola are fine. Like I say, you only need them for one fixture each. There's only 2 fixtures left the remainder of the season, so you may as well attack those promoted teams. It's kind of what you want to do with these last 2 fixtures. You just want to be attacking like Everton players, Bournemouth players, Arsenal players, maybe West Ham players, stuff like that, when they play these relegated teams, because that's just hopefully going to maximize your points. But either way, there's not really too much to say about the goalkeepers. They both just have pretty easy fixtures for the remaining of the season. So either way, those are the goalkeepers that I would go with if I was on a wild card for Game Week 37. Moving on, let's take a look at the defenders for this Game Week 37 wildcard. We've gone with Kivior, Kerkez, Gvardiol, Cucurella, and Konza as well. Again, you're probably wondering why have we gone Kerkez and Kivior. It's because of their fixture next week. You're playing the last 2 fixtures here, so obviously you would bench Kivior and Kerkez this week because they have Newcastle at home and Man City away, respectively. But then next week they've got Southampton away and Leicester at home. So obviously you're going to want to play them for that last day of the season. Big differentials as well in players like Kerkez. Not a lot of players will own them as well. And if you're in a wildcard draft, you may as well hit those kind of differentials, because it will maximize your points if they do well. And it will just, I guess you'll just finish as best as you can possibly this season. But either way, Kivior and Kerkez for next week. They're also relatively cheapish than your other kind of big defenders like your Gvardiols and stuff like that. But either way, gone with those 2 for next week. But for this week, I'll be playing Gvardiol, who's got Bournemouth at home. I'll be playing Cucurella, who's got Man United at home. And then I'd also be playing Konza, who's got Spurs at home. Again, Man United and Spurs may as well just be, you know, relegation fixtures, because they're just that bad. They're obviously going to be concentrating on the Europa League final as well, so they're going to be rotating. So it should be, you'd like to think, easy clean sheets for Chelsea and Aston Villa. Both need to win anyway for Champions League positions, so I kind of want to attack those teams really from an FPL point of view. Again, you don't need to play him next week. You don't need to play Cucurella because they're probably going to concede against Forest. But next week you could just play Konza if you wanted to. He's got Man United away, as well as Kerkez or Kivior, or you could just play Gvardiol, who's got Fulham away. That's obviously up to you. But yeah, Gvardiol's in this week, and then of course Cucurella and Konza, and then next week it'd be Kivior, Kerkez, and again, one of Konza or Gvardiol. I'd probably opt for Gvardiol because Man United will probably go full strength for Game Week 38, whereas Fulham have not been very good lately, and obviously Gvardiol is a better option than Konza in my opinion. Either way, these defenders kind of cover all bases, and like I say, you're attacking those relegated sides to try and maximize the points. But yeah, those are the defenders and the goalkeepers that I would go with if I was on a Game Week 37 wildcard. Moving on, let's take a look at the midfielders for this Game Week 37 wildcard draft. We've gone with Rodgers, who's got Spurs at home. Again, a great fixture to target this week. We've gone Mbumo, who's got Fulham at home. We've gone Mo Salah, who's got Brighton away. We've gone Bowen, who's got Forest at home. And then we've also gone Cole Palmer as well, who's got Man United at home as well. So this midfield's a little bit different than you'd be expecting. Rodgers, again, targeting Spurs. That's why he's in there. And of course, Man United away. And they need to win because of Champions League positions. And Mbumo, just because Brentford are flying at the moment. They're finishing very highly. They're like 8th at the moment. And they probably would have secured European football if it wasn't for, obviously, that they had like that kind of not great patch halfway through the season, and if that went a little bit better, then they would definitely be rivaling kind of Forest and stuff for that Europa Conference League. But either way, they still want to finish on a high, and yeah, they've been playing very well lately. So Mbumo, who's got Fulham at home, Mo Salah's a bit of a weird one. I understand why people might opt against him just because he's not been great lately. If you take a look at his returns, he's obviously scored against Spurs in that 5-1, and again only got 1 goal in that 5-1 victory. But apart from that, has not scored since the Southampton game in Game Week 28. Picked up 1 assist in that time as well. So he's got 4 returns since Game Week 28, which is kind of mad because Salah's obviously had like the best season ever. So for the fact that he's just dipped that much, they've already won the league. They've got nothing else to play for. I think Slot was in Dubai or something like the other day. So they obviously don't care because it doesn't really matter what they do now. They've got nothing else to really play for. Salah's obviously still going to be going for even better sort of accolades and stuff, but he has been off it. I just feel like you can't really go against him though, because everyone's going to have him for the remainder of the season. If he does go big, it's going to really hurt your rank. So it's more just damage control really, having Salah on this wildcard draft. But if you did want to go against him and maybe bring in a Haaland or something, I would completely understand that. But yeah, as I say, it's more for damage control. Also gone Bowen as well. Like I say, Forest home is a tough fixture, but Forest have not been very good defensively lately. Bowen has been very, very good. Scored again at the weekend against Man United. So I like him as an option. I think he's going to finish the season strong. Forest home, and then we've got him for Ipswich away next week. So obviously a very, very nice fixture for him. And then I've also gone Cole Palmer as well. Again, not been great lately, but you only really need him for that Man United at home fixture, and then you can use your transfer to get rid of him. Because Saka is obviously cheaper than Palmer. So you'd have Palmer this week for the Man United at home fixture, and then you'd bring in Saka for the Southampton away fixture because he's cheaper, so you'll always be able to afford him. And then that would be your 1 transfer. So again, you'll obviously have 1 going into 38, so that's what you'd use it on. And I feel like that would be a pretty nice sort of way to round off this season. But yeah, Palmer this week and then Saka next week, and then that would make up the midfield. Again, you got plenty of penalty takers in there. And all pretty good attacking players as well that I would kind of opt with. But yeah, let's move that back to Palmer just so it doesn't confuse me. It's on SAR at the moment. Let me just quickly sort that out. But anyway, those are the midfielders that I would go with if I wasn't on a Game Week 37 wildcard. Finishing things off, the strikers that we've gone with are Vissa, who's got Fulham at home. We've gone Watkins, who's got Spurs at home. And then we've also gone Chris Wood, who's got West Ham away. So Vissa is in there just because, again, Brentford attackers have been very, very good lately. And Mbomo, Vissa, Shard been really, really good players. And again, you could go with any of them, really. I don't know who you'd get rid of for Shard. Maybe you get rid of Rodgers or something so you don't have triple Villa. But I think Mbomo and Vissa's fine. I think they're probably the best 2 options to own. They're definitely not the cheapest, but obviously you've got Mbomo on penalties, and then Vissa, like I say, he's playing up front. So really good option there. Got Watkins as well. He should be playing 90 for the last 2 fixtures. I mean, even if Rashford is back for Man United away, he can't play regardless because he's on loan. So you've got Watkins for Spurs at home and then Man United away. So I think he's a really nice option. Again, we don't have Isak in this draft, so that could hurt a little bit. But I think most people are going to be getting rid of him this week. He's got Arsenal away, which isn't a great fixture. And then he's got Everton at home, which obviously their defense have been quite good as well. So I understand why people are kind of getting rid of Isak for Watkins. I don't think it's a terrible transfer. I think it's pretty nice. And then, I mean, the last spot really, we've gone Chris Wood. You could go somebody else if you really wanted to. You could go somebody like Cunha. But again, I think West Ham away and then Chelsea home is 2 okay-ish fixtures for Chris Wood, and hopefully can get a couple of goals in those fixtures. Did end his goal drought against Leicester at the weekend. Unfortunately, wasn't enough to win the game. But as of right now, I think he's a solid option to have, and he's scored 20 Premier League goals this season. You can't really go against that. He's been very good, but been very, very informed. But either way, that's the kind of Game Week 37 wildcard draft I would come up with. Again, I completely understand that a lot of people won't have it anymore, but if you are thinking of a transfer, then I think any of these options on your screen right now would be decent. For the last 2 fixtures, though, I'd always opt for an attacking transfer. So I'll be bringing in players like your Bowens, your Watkins, your Woods, your Vistas, stuff like that, over defensive players, just because the ceiling is a lot higher for attacking players. You know, if Kirkes goes and concedes a sloppy goal to Leicester, he might not do much more. He does get forward, and he's a nice attacking wing-back, but at the end of the day, you know, you got Bowen who can score at any minute of the game, whereas, you know, Kirkes is very unlikely to do that. But that's just my 2 cents on that situation, and that is the wildcard draft that I've come up with. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, drop a like down below. Leave a comment. What are your FPL plans for Game Week 37? We won't be making a wildcard draft next week, obviously, because it's the last game week. We might do like a free hit if people have that, but as of right now, this will be the last wildcard video of the season. Cannot believe it's already over. Like, this has gone so quick. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this draft. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and until next time, peace.